If you have an ego that doesn't allow you to pinpoint your weaknesses, you need to get rid of that immediately. You have to be able to have the conversation with yourself to be able to tell yourself what you are weak at. What is your weak point in order to improve? I'm not saying you have to go out there and put your weaknesses on display for the whole world to see. Tell everyone, hey, this is my weakness. Hey, this is my weakness. But your ego cannot, take over to the point where you can't be honest with yourself, to where you can have a conversation with yourself and look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I'm lacking in this area. And then understand that, accept it, and say, we can only go up from here. Yes, I suck at this. Yes, I'm weak in this area, right? But we are going to make it better and be prepared to put in the work to go, hundreds and hundreds of times until you have mastered that one thing. The greats, the greats aren't great just because they're great. They just woke up great, right? They're great because of the repetitions that they put in over and over and over. Right now, as an example, I'm going to tell you guys something that I'm working on to improve, right? Because I'm good at selling, but however, there's certain areas in selling that I could be better in, certain objections that I could handle better, right? So what am I going to do? I understood there's certain objections that I could be better at, right? I understand that. I process it. I tell myself I'm not perfect. Even though I consider myself good, I still believe I could be better always. So I always try to pinpoint things. So currently there's certain areas that I believe I could be better at. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write that one thing over and over at least 100 times, over and over and over. So the next time that I'm in that situation, now my brain has processed it over 100 times. When you write something down 100 times, what are you doing? You're using three of your senses. Not only are you using your brain to repeat whatever it is to you, right? Like, let's say I'm going to write down, I don't know, I am good at basketball, right? Whatever it is, I'm good at basketball. And I write that 100 times. Guess what? Now I have to use my hand to write it out. Now I have to tell myself in my head again, once again, I'm good at basketball, right? And then I also have to see it with my eyes. So that is using three senses. After 100 times, your brain is going to remember it so much better. Your brain. So if you want to become a better speaker, if you want to, whatever it is you want to do, once you can write something down over 100 times, and not even write it down, repeat it at least 100 times, if not thousands of times. If you want to become great at something, be prepared to put in the work. But first, your ego cannot stop you from, excuse me, your ego cannot stop you from understanding that you are weak in this area and that you could improve, right? Maybe you're not even super weak. Maybe you just need to improve if you want to be one of the greats. If you want to be one of the greats, you have to know that you are not great right now, and that's okay. That's how all the greats start. But in order to become great, you must prepare before you get put in the game, right? The NBA players, they don't just wait till they go in the game and then start shooting, hoping that they make shots, right? They practice over and over and over. They drill over and over and over. What do Marines do, right? Marines, they create situations before they get put into that situation, and they repeat and they drill every single day over and over, so that once they are faced with that situation or that scenario, they know how to handle it perfectly. So let's say you are not a good public speaker, or maybe you're just not good speaking at all. You're not good, being social, speaking to others. Whatever it is you think you are not good at, maybe it's your tone of voice, maybe it's your delivery, maybe it is you stumble on your words. Figure out what it is, write it down at least 100 times. Write it down over and over and over. And maybe you don't even have to write it down, but repeat it over and over. If you can drive a car, you can learn any skill, because at some point you couldn't even drive a car, right? But what do you do? You learned it. See, driving a car is one of the most simple skills to learn, but everything else, sales, marketing, becoming a great public speaker, becoming a good basketball player, becoming a good fighter, anything. Once you realize that you can learn this skill, once you accept the workload that you have to do in order to become great, you can learn that skill. Back when I was a bartender, right? I was a bartender back in my day. At first, I didn't think I could ever bartend. At first, I thought that shit looks too complicated. I don't know anything about alcohol. There's so many alcohols. There's whiskey, there's tequila, there's wine, there's this, there's that. All kinds of alcohols. That's already confusing. And then you got to remember a whole bunch of recipes. There's like 50 or 100 recipes that you have to remember. And when someone orders it, now you have to remember their order. Now you have to write down every single drink they want. Now you have to go back there and you have to grab the specific alcohol and the specific mixer and the specific juice and mix it all up. And you have to remember what glass it goes in. I was like, no way. I don't think I can learn that. But guess what? How did I learn it? Through repetition. I ended up becoming a good bartender. Why? Because I repeated it and repeated it and repeated it. Someone asked for a pina colada. Okay, now I know the pina colada has some pina colada mix, some ice, some rum, coconut rum, good to go. See, I learned it through repetition. So any skill that you want to learn, you can learn it through repetition. But first, you must be able to identify your weakness, pinpoint it, and be willing to put in the work. Don't let your ego stop you. Like, yeah, I think I'm the fucking man. I think I'm him. But at the end of the day, I have to be able to have conversations with myself in order to say, hey, bro, you can improve here. This is an area that could use improvement. So it doesn't have to mean that you're an unconfident motherfucker. It just means you're able to have that conversation with yourself and you are able to, tell yourself where you need to improve and be willing to put in the work. All right, bro. I hope that helped. Peace out.